to San Diego Comic-Con. My name's Devin Kogan. I'm a senior writer at EW, and I am so excited to be here at EW's San Diego Comic-Con suite with the cast of Interview with a Vampire. Thank you guys so much for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. My first question is, on the elevators up here is, there's so many posters of your guys' faces. What was that like to step into that elevator and see come face to face with yourselves?
I had the biggest reaction. I just gasped and screamed a little bit, and then we had a mini photo shoot.
It's very intense. Yeah. I kept thinking about, like, what if you were quite drunk and you're trying to get to your room and then you're in a coffin and we're just like looking at you. And you're in this is the final bit of your journey.
And then it's not your eyes either. So it's like, are you staring at me or not?
Yeah.
It's quite wild.
It's definitely like it packs a punch. It's been awesome. But I'm so excited to talk to you guys about the show. This is such an iconic story. Whether people know the Anne Rice book or the film. What was it that excited you guys most about kind of telling a new version of this story?
Well, I mean, I have to say I'm a huge fan of the books and always have been. So when I heard it was being made, I really, really hoped that I had the opportunity to get to be in it or audition for it. And then reading Roland's script, which is such a beautiful adaptation of such an extraordinary piece of literature, it is a really, really exciting thing to be a part of. So I hope the fans of the book are really excited, because we really do serve the story, the original story, and we get to bring in more elements because we're looking at all of the books, so it's a very exciting sort of undertaking, really.
Yeah, do you feel a sense of pressure, taking on such a story that is so beloved by so many people?
Massively, yeah.
Huge amounts of pressure. Huge.
The script is so strong that we just knew that this was gold, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the respect is in the writing and what a terrific job that Roland did with it.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I remember reading the scripts and my eyes were glued to the page, and you just want to read the whole thing as fast as you can, and we really created this world in the essence of Anne Rice.
That makes total sense. So yeah, you talked about reading the scripts for the first time. For you guys, what was your reaction? What stood out to you the most when you sort of really started to dive into the story?
I feel like it very much in the spirit of Anne Rice. There's just something achingly human about it, and it's kind of, I know it sounds like a bit of a cliche, but it's kind of like looking in a mirror. You're seeing things that you almost wish people didn't know about you or hadn't observed about you. And again, it's how I felt reading the books. Like, these monsters are so us, you know?
Yeah, extremely relatable.
Yeah, and it's quite confronting.
Well, it's relatable in the sense of, like, we have the theme of family and the theme of love.
Yeah.
So many people will be able to connect to it, and then we have action-packed blood, fangs, different colored eyes as well.
Well, passion is the essence of it, the blood passion and the heat of it, and it just powers everything. And then there's a sort of a sadness underneath it all, and it's the sadness, I think we've captured both.
Yeah.
The melancholy, it's part of Anne Rice, and the nostalgia, all of that.
For sure, there's something so universal about it. And I'm curious, you mentioned the fangs and some of the contact lenses. Tell me a little bit about putting that on for the first time.
If you ever wanted to know what it feels like to be a vampire, then wearing those contacts in particular.
We're going to swap out your mic really quick.
Eric.
Something was up. I mean, they've been doing some kind of thing in the background here for the last 2
Eric
minutes.
is the interviewer.
I was going to say, yeah.
I'm so loud, it doesn't make a difference. Okay.
But it's, like,
Continue.
It was really, for me in particular, it was amazing because I'm talking about memories. And when you wear those contacts, everything feels like a dream. Everything has this kind of glow around it.
A fog. A memory fog.
A memory.
Yeah. But in terms of fangs, like, as a kid, I had a little pair of fangs that I used to go everywhere with. And so when we had them made, you had, these things molded to your teeth, and we went through, stages and stages of different types of fangs that would be sent to my house, and I would try them and take a photograph and send them back. It was literally living like a childhood dream, and I still have them. the fangs. And in fact, they gave us all of our fangs in molded in silver as a gift at the end, which is probably my most prized possession that I own.
Yeah.
I adore them. I adore them.
So you guys are all set for Halloween. You got the fangs ready to go. You know, just when kids come trick or treating, you're like, oh, let me pull out my custom made fangs that are just for me.
Not just Halloween, like, you know, dinner parties.
Yeah,
and just
casually on the streets.
Yeah, I got to sleep in them.
I'm hoping to get my fangs if we get to the next season. There's possibility for me. It's a dream. It's a dream that I aspire to.
You're going to join the club?
Yeah. Well, it was the day before they called me for this. I was thinking, there's one last thing I've never done. I want to be a vampire. And the next day I got the call for this, which was kind of weird.
Wow.
That is weird.
Isn't it weird?
Yeah. I love that.
So it has to
No,
happen. That's it. It has to happen.
Come to us.
Yeah.
Come to us.
For sure. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the production design for this show. It is so lavish and beautiful, and the costumes. Tell me a little bit about the first time you guys stepped on set. What was it like to sort of walk into that world?
It's quite overwhelming at first.
There's so much to say.
Yeah. I sort of collapsed when we walked on set for the first time because I was just so overwhelmed by what they had built. It's extraordinary.
For me, growing up in Brooklyn, I've always been obsessed with townhouses. And where we live, the vampires live, is in a townhouse. And there was not one detail that was missed. Everywhere you look, it really created this world, which as actors made it easy for us to live in this space.
And sometimes, you know, when you shoot, we've all shot lots of stuff, either you're on a real location or you're in a place that's really fake feeling. It's like a couple of walls, and you know you're not in the... But their houses, it's like you walk around in there, it's creepy-ish. Anyway, and then my place, which I don't think anybody even knows about yet, but the Dubai stuff is... I mean, I was there while they were building it, like they're actually building a whole building here for
the Dubai
these
stage
scenes.
was huge.
Yeah,
we snuck onto it, and it was just, it felt like you were actually in a Dubai apartment.
They built a penthouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And gorgeous.
Yeah, they also built 3 streets of New Orleans
Yes,
in the backlot. So it was this extraordinary, which we used to go in breaks. We'd go and climbing the back of the backlot and climbing up and going to every single balcony and going, should we go to the next one? Do we have time? It's just extraordinary. 3-story buildings. It was just mind blowing. It was a mind blowing experience.
It feels like you're really in New Orleans, just walking through and just exploring.
We were also filming in New Orleans.
Yeah. Right.
So any of the on-location stuff that you see in the show was actually in New Orleans. There's even a pharmacy that is one of the oldest pharmacies in the U.S. that we filmed in, which was quite wild.
Yeah. And Jackson Square, we filmed in Jackson Square, and
We got to film in Jackson Square multiple times.
A lot.
It's insane. It's so
And then the house is filled with all kinds of creepy stuff. Chains that you pull and things turn around and coffins. And the coffins, you just go there, for me, to just sit there and look at those coffins, it's really, really
And they're real
creepy.
coffins, too.
Yeah.
When you see it, they're real coffins.
I had the most comfortable one. Jacob would actually would go into mine, and he's like, "Wow, this is really nice."
You
were like coughing.
Mine is beautiful. It's my favorite aesthetic coffin, but it just wasn't very comfortable.
You don't want a pink coffin?
No, I like mine. Mine's it's kind of like a fridge.
It is.
Not to be reductive.
Modern Art Deco coffin.
Yeah.
And then as far as beautiful, I mean, Mara is like the greatest designer ever and art director. I don't know what the right term is, but when you're shooting, you're sitting there, you're looking at the environment you're in, and you get kind of pulled into it because there's so much to look at, and you're like, wow, they thought of everything, all these little details and stuff. It's really, really nice.
It really gave us the ability to play. And Claudia being such a loud, powerful character that feels so many emotions, I really got to sit in her room and play with everything in it. I stole, actually. It's a snow globe, and it has a squid inside of it. which is it's really creepy, but so Claudia. So I had to take it home.
You're the one that stole it? Because they were like looking for the person.
You've confessed, absolutely.
Claudia's room is one of the coolest. I won't say why, but there's
Yeah.
that one
it's a big
particular
surprise,
feature.
yeah.
Yeah, you'll see.
Don't do that
You're not allowed to give away stuff.
Yeah.
TBD, tune in, absolutely. All right, great. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me, and thank you all so much for watching at home. And stay tuned to EW.com for more coverage on Interview with the Vampire and for all things San Diego.
Thank you.
Bye.